Happy Sunday, all you minties. This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an overview of the Nightwing, the Prince of Gotham Omnibus from DC Comics. Let's do this thing. And welcome back, everybody. So here it finally is, our very first Nightwing Omnibus. I can't believe that it's here. And of all the things they could have gone with, they went with the New 52 Nightwing. So this is the stuff that's written by Kyle Higgins and leads directly into the Grayson Omnibus. Now let me hold the spine up a little more for you all. So this one is dubbed The Prince of Gotham. Here's the back. Retails for $99.99. We'll talk about the content here in a second. And this is for all those that like to see that angle of the book. Now, let's look under the dust jacket. So you got two separate images. You have the image over here on the right by Eddie Barrows that, well, I guess he's got ties to the Court of Owls, huh? And then you have this awesome image over here of Russell Dauterman's Nightwing. That's right, Russell Dauterman drew the final issues of Kyle Higgins' run. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. By the way, this entire run has been previously collected in these 5 trade paperbacks of New 52 Nightwing. For all those that have been getting trades and have been wondering to upgrade, these are the 5 that make up this entire omnibus. And I've done an overview, or I'm sorry, a reading order of Nightwing. If you want to check that out on the channel, just click on the link above, and I'll tell you exactly where this fits in the chronological reading order of Dick Grayson. So let's go ahead and get this opened. It's got the Nightwing logo. He went from blue to red. Prince of Gotham Omnibus. All the creators behind here. You have Scott Snyder, Tom DeFalco. Tom DeFalco did do some fill-in issues. Scott Snyder, of course, doing that Batman issue that's included in all of these books. And then Tim Seeley and Tom King doing the final issue that leads into Grayson. Here's all the artists, including the inkers and the colorists down here. And then the dust jacket artwork and case art, which is what the art on board is. Eddie Barrows and Rod Reyes and Russell Dauterman. Here's the content right here of everything that's collected in this omnibus. When this omnibus was first solicited, they left out annual number 1, and it's in here, so not to worry. So let's talk about the content first, and then talk a little bit about the story without giving any spoilers away. But I'm pretty sure, based on the title alone, you can kind of figure out what this is about. So, this all is after Flashpoint, so it's a soft reboot, at least for the Bat family, with the exception of Barbara Gordon, even though the events of The Killing Joke actually took place. Several things were changed for her character. But as far as Nightwing, Dick Grayson, not a lot changed. So, this collects Nightwing 0 through 30, and it is in the proper reading order. Issue 0 is later on. Batman number 17, which is the Batman issue of Death of the Family. Not to be confused with Death in the Family. But Death of the Family is where he kidnaps all the Bat family and has them over for dinner. And it's a big crossover, so it's included in every one of these books. It's included in the Batgirl book, it's included in the Detective Comics book, it's included in the Batman book, and, of course, in Nightwing. And Red Hood and the Outlaws during this time. It also includes the Valentine's Day special number 1, and that's a New 52, Young Romance one-shot. Annual number 1, like I said, Secret Origins 1, and that's it. That's everything that's in this book. You have 824 pages, again, retailing for $99.99. Almost slip of the tongue there. So what is this about? What's going on with Nightwing? Well, he leaves Bloodhaven to come back to Gotham. And when he comes back to Gotham, this ties heavily into the Court of Owls storyline, which is the very first story in the pages of Scott Snyder's Batman and Greg Capullo. Not to forget the wonderful Greg Capullo. The Haley Circus, which he was a part of, comes into Gotham. And, of course, they bring some drama and mystery with them. There's some murder, and there's a plot of revenge, some twists and turns. And then, of course, the Joker gets involved because this ties into the death of the family. And then Dick Grayson does his own thing. Now, he does have some heavy ties with the Court of Owls. I'm not going to spoil that for you. It's pretty interesting how some things are actually, retconned in a little bit with as far as the history of Dick Grayson. but I was okay with some of those changes. It wasn't too, I guess, too far out there for me to get upset about. Now, here's some of the writing from Tom DeFalco, who's a guest writer. Tom DeFalco, by the way, killer run on Thor, killer run on Fantastic Four, and Spider-Girl. If you've not checked those out, those need an omnibus format. So I find it interesting that they went with this particular story. Honestly, the very first Nightwing omnibus really is that Grayson omnibus by Tom King. But I think that's what they were trying to cash in on at the time, were the names Tom King and Tim Seeley. Because Tom King went on to blow up at DC, so they were like, let's do that omnibus. And this is the crossover event right here. Issue number 17 of... Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is issue 17 of Nightwing. I can't reveal what happens there. But this is the Batman issue that I was talking about by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Oh, and let's go back here really quick to talk about the table of contents. So we do have a table of contents, and what's nice is you get the page where these issues start. So, for example, there are page numbers in this one at least, but the cover art doesn't show what you're reading. Neither does the back. I was hoping that they would put Nightwing issue 8 there, but at least you can rely on the page numbers and the table of contents to let you know what issue you are on. Let's go back to this. Later on, Brett Booth, after he leaves Teen Titans, New 52 Teen Titans, takes over Nightwing as the ongoing artist. So the artwork changes up a little bit. And we're introduced to some new characters. Some old characters from Dick Grayson's past come back. There is a team up with Batgirl, of course. But let's get here towards the later issues, where right here. So this is the tail end of Kyle Higgins' run. And Kyle Higgins, you may be familiar with him. He's the one that did the Power Rangers comics for Boom Studios that just were amazing, at least in my eyes. He's written for both Marvel and DC, but the Power Ranger things to me is just what I became a huge Kyle Higgins fan. And then he's done some independent stuff too, like, what is it called? Hayden's Wall? Was that it? Oh, I cannot remember the name of that story where it's a little town in Russia and there's about spies. Dang it. Of course I'm going to remember after this episode, but whatever. Doing this just to talk about Russell Dodderman's artwork back here. So yes, Russell Dodderman, before he did things at Marvel, he was doing things here at DC. He's the guy that took over Thor, and then eventually War of the Realms, and now has drawn issues of X-Men, but he was drawing issues of Nightwing back here. And immediately, I had forgotten that he did issues of Nightwing until I started looking. I'm like, oh, I like the way that lady's hair looks, or that girl's hair. And, of course, it was all because of Russell Dodderman. Now, we're also... Here's the special one-shot, and then the final issue right here. And this sets up the events of Spiral. And you can read this to find out what that is. And the Grayson Omnibus. And this is Tom King and Tim Seeley writing this. Really, Kyle Higgins' final issue on Nightwing was issue 29. Now, as far as extras in the back... Let's look at these. Here's some variant covers. Scott McDaniels right there. That's the Robot Chicken variant. And that's that a Mad variant? Yeah, it's a Mad variant. And some sketches, character designs. Man, that Eddie Barrows, that is solid. Pencils, no inks. He's come a long way from, I remember him drawing, what was it, Terror Titans, and before that he had a couple of fill-in issues of Teen Titans during Jeff Johns' run. That is a kick-ass Kenneth Rocafort Robin. I've always been a big fan of his artwork, too. And this is from issue 0, just the different layouts. Brett Booth, of course, who is taking over X-Men now. And some layouts for different issues back here, and the process of the thumbnail to inks. And then the final 2 inks for issues 24. Surprised that they didn't do full-blown pages for those. Now, let's look at this binding. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm sure you probably noticed when I was flipping pages through this one. It has a hard time staying open towards the beginning and towards the end. There's that eye. It is sewn binding, and I have properly opened it as soon as I got it. But I don't know what it is. I think it might be these heavy, glossy pages. It gets fine. It lays down fine here in the middle. But when you get towards the front, like, without having to hold it down, we're like 5 issues in here, and it's still shutting down. And it could be this, but this isn't that heavy. I think it's the glue that they put down here too. Sometimes when they use excess glue, it just becomes a little too much and it starts to flap on you. That gets better with more read-throughs, but just a heads up. I like to tell people ahead of time. We got about 100 pages left, and yeah, it's shutting on me. What is it with these Bat books? That Black Label book was solid. But yes, just as a heads up, prepare to be holding these down towards the very beginning and towards the end. If that stuff doesn't bother you, because I know it doesn't bother some people, then this is okay. But if it bothers you, you know, you may rethink about keeping those trade paperbacks. And as far as the gutter loss, trying to find a spread. Here's a splash page, but this looks fine. Never one when you need it. So here's a spread between 2 pages towards the very beginning, and this is me holding it down. And so there is some gutter loss. You know, some of his foot is missing down here, but that's to be expected, honestly. And let's look in the back here. It's hard to find these when you can't spoil anything. Okay, the spreads that I found in the back have spoilers, so I have to resort to using this one. This is from page 592. This is where it is laying down better. So there is minimal gutter loss here. You have to hold it down to see the full face. But like I said, that's to be expected when the glue down here is keeping the weight of the book down. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this omnibus, don't forget to check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and the build of this omnibus. Let me know in the comments down below if you're picking this up, if you're okay with the trade paperbacks, what you thought of the story, or if you'd rather get the Grayson omnibus. Again, it's really cool that this is our very first Nightwing omnibus, so leave all those comments down below. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and on Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. More importantly, please everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.